Peace, Tiff. How's my audio? Is it good enough? Can you hear me okay, Tiff? Good evening. How's my audio? Good, Jay Roberts. Hey, Fredo, the real Mike Beats. Thank you for joining. Try and get Jay Roberts back on. Mr. Shade 45, I like that title. I think he can rap. I think that's why we're here. Technical difficulties, stand by. You taught him everything he knows? Okay, we'll verify, bro. But I see you guys, yeah. I'll mention your name. We'll get into it. All right, what's going on here? I'm going to send this invite one more time. There we go. Peace, bro. How are you?
Good. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you having me on.
Of course, man. Pleasure is mine. What are you drinking over there? Nice.
Only the best.
Jameson.
Yeah.
I've heard you say that in a few rhymes, man. Is that Jameson all day for you?
Irish whiskey's the only way to go.
Got it. How's my audio, bro? I'm using a different set of earbuds. My kids, I think they hid my other pair. Can you hear me okay?
Your audio is less. It's very good.
Dope, man. So, show rock in the house, dope.
Salute,
so, how's your day going, man?
It's going good.
How you been?
Busy as always, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is it the music plus the life keeping you busy?
It's life. Or music is nothing, man. I got 4 kids and I work at a hospital working 12 hours. So.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. No, man. Wow. You just made my life feel a whole lot easier, bro.
Trust.
Wow. And you're doing all that you're doing with the music, man. I'm impressed. I'm even more impressed.
Salute. Appreciate that.
It's crazy, bro. Good for you, man. So let's start with the Jay Roberts introduction. Let me know if I do you justice here. So you're repping Toronto. Last year, I believe middle of the year, you came out with your debut solo album, Northside.
Yes,
by the way, I sent you a video of my 4-5-year-old son, like, loving your shit, and my kids hate boom bap, bro. They hate it. And they were feeling the whole album. I don't know.
That. Jay Roberts for the kids.
Yeah, man, for the children, man. But it's funny because I turned on boom bap today again, like some different stuff, some sampled stuff. Again, they're like, turn it off. So, bro, you got a special sound, I guess. So yeah.
To the youths.
Yeah, man, they know what's up, right? So you're Irish Canadian, which we're gonna get into a bit, man. I think that's an interesting topic, and someone here titled you Mr. Shade 45, and it seems like a fitting title, bro. I finally went extensively through your timeline, and I saw how much you've been on Shade 45 now. I only like got a hint of it before, man. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah. I don't post it all the time. Just just here and there.
Yeah, I hear you, man. So again, DJ Premier, Static Selecta, Amadeus, DJ Eclipse, DJ Boogie Blind. And then just as part of the introduction, I want to say that you got tracks with Benny the Butcher, Mickey Diamond, Sky Zoo, Mickey Fax, Danielson, Asen Eastwood. I mean, you're going with heavy hitters here, bro. You're not playing games, bro. So yeah, and we'll get into that for sure as well. And I want to mention, that you're working with a pretty well-known Canadian producer, Blanks. I remember even like over 10 years ago when I was taking music seriously at that time, I remember his name everywhere, bro. So
yeah,
I feel, yeah, man. So you're not here to play, bro. You're working with talent here. So yeah, and I think I found out about you through My Detroit Hustle, actually. So
yes,
thought I'd mention that as well.
My Detroit Hustle, man. They're big over there.
Yeah,
Mad
man.
love.
Yeah, man. So what I usually like to do is say what I like about your music. I like to show you that I'm a real fan of what you do, so I'm going to get into it a bit. And let's feel free to unpack it, you know what I mean, if you want to dissect any of the statements I'm about to get into. I love your delivery, bro. Very polished. Your sense of rhythm. Your shit is just enjoyable to listen to, man. You got the touch. Some people have it, some people don't, man. So that's the start. You got slick but gritty wordplay, and the bars they just keep rolling, bro. It's just the way your style is. You got dope and consistent production choices. And I also want to mention you got really good engineering, bro, and I think that sets you apart. I think that's why my kids might like your shit and not some of the other sampled shit they hear. Not everyone invests in engineering, so I want to take a moment to highlight that.
Nice,
you know what I mean?
Clean. It's
yeah.
clean.
Yeah, man.
Does a good job.
Absolutely, and we'll definitely get into that and how you connected with him. And Northside, your debut album from last year, it's not even the bars so much that's the most impressive thing. It's the overall package, man. It's just well done. It flows. The scratches are in place. There's nothing whack. There you go. And I'm going to cop one of those, as promised, to support.
Bro. Appreciate it.
Well worth it. Yeah, man. And I wanted to also mention, I dig the way you lean into your accent, bro. I feel it's like, it reminded me of some Irish, like, militant shit, the way you come with your rhymes, but I like how you lean into it, bro. It's flavor, man. So it's something unique for sure.
Appreciate that.
And, yeah, and other than that, you're making wise decisions, bro. Whether it's the engineers you're working with, the artists you're working with, you're taking yourself seriously. You got solid videos out the gate. And it's really the whole package that impresses me the most, because not everyone has all those things in check coming out the gate, bro. So
no, they don't. You nailed all that. That's 100%.
Yeah, man. So wanted to get into growing up. You were born in Canada, from what I know, right?
Yeah, Scarborough.
Scarborough. Yeah. My wife is from Scarborough. I actually wrote down the intersection, Midland and Danforth.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you know that area, but
Yeah.
So based on your accent, I would have guessed that you moved here from Ireland as a teenager, but it's kind of interesting. So how did you retain the accent?
Yeah, like, that's just my upbringing, my one side's Irish, but my other side's like Newfie. They're pretty much Irish adopted on that side. So,
right.
It just kind of lingers with me. Some hear it, but some don't. Like my close people are at my work and stuff. They don't hear it too much. And
really,
yeah. So it comes and goes. But I'm glad that it's a little bit of a twang, sets me apart.
Yeah, that definitely sets you apart. Do you think it's dependent on like where they are from Canada, like what they're used to hearing, kind of whether they hear it or not, something like 100%,
that? 100%. Because when I'm in America, it's like, they're like, that shit is thick. They think I'm a fucking leprechaun.
Right. Do you still have any connections to Ireland at this point? Do you have family there? Do you go back there?
Yeah, but most have died off. I'm kind of like the last of my breed.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you grew up in Scarborough. Thought I'd start with, like, on a personal note, what was life like growing up in Scarborough or the area of Scarborough?
It was rough, man. Moved around a lot.
Yeah.
Back and forth. I went to 3 different schools.
Wow.
Just being also like the redhead around, you got to deal with that nonsense.
Right.
I'm automatically different than, there's white kids And
Right.
then there's like the redheads, and we're very rare. So
Yeah.
I had to deal with that bullshit. And
Right.
yeah, mom's had me moving all over the goddamn place.
Mm.
Pops was gone at like 7. He was doing some bids and stuff. And
Wow.
so yeah, off the rip, it was already rough. Me, my brother, and my mom, and then just that typical poor ass story.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Yeah, well, my mom's a redhead. I got a little bit of red, not like you. My kids are full out redheads, so
Nice.
yeah. I'm toughening them up for sure,
Let's
man.
go. They're
Just
gonna
in
need
case,
it.
man. Yeah, man. So how old were you when you started getting into hip hop? Do you recall?
Yeah, man. So I think it was my mom. I say about 5 years old. She'd be like listening to Tupac cleaning or some Lauryn Hill, and then
Right.
I started getting a bop for it. And then I used to watch Rap City on Much Music. I was dialed into that top 10 when they used to
Right.
do that, and
Right.
pretty much that's what I leaned on as a kid. And then I'd say 9 or 10, I was really starting to go heavy with it. So my
Hmm.
uncle used to like give me CDs of like Wu-Tang and
Right.
all. I used to play it on my Discman, and then I became
Right.
kind of like infatuated with it.
Right. Right. And wanted to ask you, when did you start? You started writing around 10, you said? Something around
I would
there?
have to say probably about 10. I started writing like just little poetry things here and there,
Right.
And I think I
Got
wrote
it.
my first rap probably 13.
Right. So I wanted to take some time. Like, I haven't talked to a Canadian artist actually since episode 3. I grew up in the GTA, North York. I'm kind of on the West End now. But, like, I'm 42, and I started listening to hip hop when I was like 6. So this is like 1986. So I was watching hip hop scene from then and the Canadian hip hop scene at the same time. And I have to say, like, in Toronto, I wasn't at the center of the scene as a little kid, but there always was talent. Maestro Fresh West, we can go on, the Circle Research, that
Mm-hmm.
whole crew. But it was always a hurdle to overcome being Canadian, you know? It's a long time coming. Getting Flow 93.5, that radio station, was a big deal. Getting the Drake, getting Daniel's Son is a big deal. What was your perception of Canadian hip hop? I think you're about 10 years younger than me.
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm
I'm
wrong.
32 right now.
Right, right.
So my
So,
perception was it's wildly different when I was a kid. The sound was
right,
mad different. I'd
right,
say like big fan of Choclair, Point Blank,
right,
Rascals.
right.
Those are kind of the rappers I really enjoyed when I was a kid and still now.
Yeah,
Socrates, I found that shit was like I look up to those type of guys, and then the sound now is like I feel like we've adapted that Buffalo sound. I would
right,
have to say like the underground scene, not like the top 5 and Pang shit. That I don't like that type of
right,
Toronto shit at all.
right, right. But growing up, did you envision that, like, you'd come out proudly Canadian in your music or anything like that? It wasn't there yet, right?
No,
That still took some time, right?
not at all. Even now, it's still not really there.
Really?
Yeah, like you're from Canada, but you still don't get that love. You know what I mean? Unless you're like fucking Drake or somebody else, they don't give a shit about a Canadian artist, and that's
Right.
real talk. It's hard,
Even with like brown bag money and all that, you're still
of course,
finding
because
finding that.
that's his own brand and shit. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Danielson isn't a catalyst of all of Toronto, because you even got
Yeah.
Ace
Yeah.
on Eastwood's doing insane shit right now.
It's amazing.
Like,
Yeah.
insane shit, and like the sound is like it's like an underground Buffalo sound. You know what I mean? So like
Right.
they're putting us on the map a bit, I would say, but
Right.
not where it should be. We're still not
Right.
global with it, which it needs to be.
Right. Right. It's funny, I used to think that was a Canadian thing,
Mm-hmm.
but then when the internet came around and I started building with, other MCs from the States, I found out, like, if you weren't in a hub like New
Yeah.
York or Los Angeles, almost all states were feeling it like that as well. I thought it was uniquely Canadian. I would think we would have it tougher,
Yeah.
you know what I mean,
Oh,
coming
we
up,
definitely do,
but
bro. And most people think I'm from New York when they hear
Right.
my music. They
Right.
swear by it. They're
Right.
like, Canada? What the fuck?
Right. So when you were like when I was developing my craft, when I've been writing on and off my whole life. I'm not active right now. A lot of my time was spent thinking, like analyzing artists like Nas. I even like in grade 4 I tried to rap like Two Live Crew, bro. Like just some fucking white kid from the burbs in Toronto, Russian parents. Like, how do I fit in with
Yeah.
this, right? Like, how do I figure it out? Did you think about that a lot growing up? Like, how am I gonna? I love this shit, but where do I fit into this?
I'd say why I never truly went for it until like my second run when I turned like 30 was because I didn't find my sound yet. I found
Right.
that I was still kind of mastering my craft, and like I
Right.
never had a producer, so I was leasing beats from fucking everywhere, left and right. So I couldn't really figure that out yet. So it took me some years to really figure out what I wanted to do musically, because my
Right.
influences were all over the place. You know,
Yeah.
Tupac or like Naughty by Nature, and then there's Eminem. So it's
Right.
like I'm trying to shove all these styles into one when I was like from my 20s and up. So it was pretty difficult.
For sure. Do you feel like I think the good thing about the game now is there's so many more lanes than there used to be. Again, like me being a kid from Toronto thinking, like, how do I come up in the time of Tupac and Nas and like figures like that, Snoop Dogg, right? I feel like now there's so many different lanes. Do you feel like now is good timing for you in terms of like you could just lean into who you are type of thing, and as long as you do that, it works? Or what are your thoughts?
I think primarily was a couple factors and luck. I think I
Right.
found my sound through my boy Blanks. You know,
Right.
he jump started my career by having some faith in the boy, and
Right.
and now I have my niche, my core audience that I built from rapping every week. Once
Yeah.
I got that into play, it allowed me now to have the fan base that knows what to expect. So now that's
Right.
my core fan base knows. I think without that fan base core, my shit probably wouldn't go anywhere, because it might
Right.
not be recepted well.
Right. Right. We're definitely going to talk about Blanks, a name I've seen around for a long time. I would categorize him as a legend. I've seen the way other cities categorize certain artists. I think it's a fair statement. But we'll definitely get into that. So wanted to ask you, who's your top 3 rappers, period? I don't like asking top 5. I think top 3 is a more suitable question.
I would, oof, that's so tough. I'll say right now, if we're talking back in the day, it'd have to be Pac, Nas, and Big L. That'd have to be my 3.
Right. And what about top 3 Canadian rappers? Do you have a
I'd have
top
to
3?
say Socrates, Chocolare, probably Maestro.
Got it.
Yeah. Cardinal up there. He's like tied 3rd.
Got it. Wanted to ask you, when did you first record? Was it in a studio environment, or was it like a home recording setup for you?
Yeah.
Or
I got my first real studio session when I was 15. When I was in high school, I paid like $100 towards it. I was on a featured song, and
Right.
yeah, 15. That was my first real moment.
Got it. So I wanted to talk about the lead up to your album. Like, to me, when you dropped your first project, it's pretty monumental. I personally feel like a lifetime goes into it before you say, yo, I'm ready. I found my style. I'm ready to drop the shit. So I just really want to get into the lead up. For me, I'm not necessarily tapped into everything, but I felt like your album kind of came out of nowhere. I don't know if that's a common response you get from people,
It
but
definitely is.
right. Let me just see here. So I read that on your Bandcamp that you've been in the underground scene or community for 15 years, right? So can you explain to what extent you know, you were doing over these 15 years
I would
before the
have to
drop?
say I've been always making music.
Right.
I've always been writing. I have a stash of probably 200 to 300 songs that'll never see the daylight. But I was just, you know, it was something I enjoyed. I didn't give a fuck putting it out or getting anywhere with it. And then I would say I just started my Instagram 3 years ago because one of my buddies was like, I think you should join this little rap thing on Instagram. I think it was the Dominion Cyphers, where they give you a beat on like a Monday, and you have a week to rap on it, and then like everyone gets picked, and there's a winner of the week. So that actually started me taking it a little serious on that level.
Right.
And that started 3 years ago.
So that would have been COVID that also sparked you. Would that fall in the COVID time frame, or just before? Would you say?
2019, I was just doing like little weekly raps on my Instagram, and then I started seeing the follows come.
Right.
And you know, renouncing my craft more, and then people like Life from Star and Life, Show Rocket out his hair. These are type of guys that would like, you know, they tap in with little insight with me, like, yo, I think if you were a little less this and added a little that, I think it would really help your progress as an artist. And you know, and that's something that I was able to hear now. But if you told me that shit 10 years ago, I'd probably say, you know, shut your fucking mouth.
So, you wouldn't have been receptive.
Exactly. So I was more receptive to the criticism because I'm a grown-ass man. And honestly, that 1 year helped my pen and growth to what you hear now. Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, I'm talking to what I consider as a lot of serious artists, and they welcome the feedback. Like, if you're serious, like, you can take it. You know what I'm saying? So, So, and I also read, I think in one of your interviews or saw in your interviews, you've recorded like 150 songs prior to dropping this. Is that right?
Easy. That's way back in the day. Like when I was in my 20s.
Yeah. But it must have prepared you because your delivery is right there, man. Your enunciation, all that, right?
Oh, yeah. I've been sharpening my blade. I just didn't care to put it out. I just wasn't, you know, I didn't care. It was just something I loved to do.
Makes sense. So you know me, I go digging. You know, you've been to a couple of my episodes.
Yeah.
I did see you have an album called Architects.
Yeah.
Or maybe a joint album.
Yo, that kind of was like, that was the first project. Like, I got asked to do that from my guy Eyes Low. So when I started the Instagram thing, we ended up linking up. He's from the Bay, so he's on the opposite end of the fucking world. And then he was like, yo, I think we should do a little 6-piece EP. And I'm like, you know, that kind of gave me the juice to actually put something in motion. So I did it. It was all like West Coast beats, you know, that's type, not my niche, but it pushed my pen, you know, and there's not a beat I can't do. So like that was light work to me, but it's like, it felt good getting out of the boundaries of it. So we crafted that shit in a couple weeks, and yeah, it did pretty well. I think it's like 80,000 streams or something.
Oh, wow. Is that with like a marketing push? Do you guys do a little marketing behind that, just organically?
Honestly, just from like our Instagram, like we have like a rap community. Yeah. Like Show Rocket Life, all those type of lads. We're in like this little community, so it kind of helps push your music where it needs to go sometimes.
So before you were putting out music, you were building in this kind of community, kind of sharing stuff and getting feedback, but you just weren't putting it out broadly. Got it.
Yep. I just wasn't putting out songs at all. Nothing. Just verses.
Just verses. Got it. Yeah, so both of you were dope on that. I think I listened to the whole thing. I found it on Spotify. Yes. It was hard to find, but I did find it. I thought you sounded pretty comfortable in that sound, like kind of synths and stuff. And I was thinking that's probably more on brand for your age group. So wanted to ask you, and I thought it sounded dope, and I thought that was some of your best lyricism in some of those tunes, to be honest with you. What made you go to sampled boom bap? Like, why didn't you stay there? You sounded pretty comfortable.
Boom bap's my heart. Like, that's my shit. That like up tempo trappy stuff, that's the shit that I don't like.
Really?
You know, I'll bump it, but that ain't what I like crafting around. So, you know, it's just something to push my boundaries a bit. I can do that fast shit. That's whatever.
That's dope. It's dope that you have that in your back pocket. I imagine
Yeah.
you'll pull that skill set
Well,
out
I used to
here and there.
rap really fast back in the day. Like all my old stuff is like
Right,
not trappy beats, but it's real fast and aggressive.
right. So you've been all over the place stylistically, just practicing shit
100%.
uh, over the years. Um, and how did you connect with is it Islo?
Eyes low.
Islo. I guess it's from that community, or how did you
Yeah.
guys connect? Oh,
Yeah, from
Islo,
like
got it.
the Dominion Ciphers. It was like a rap battle contest thing weekly. So all of
Right,
us kind of met through that.
got it, got it. So I wanted to reference a quote from the track "Money." I thought that was dope.
Yeah, that's a dope.
You said a dollar and a dream and a dollar is not what it seems. The money regime, all for the cream, just to fit into the scene. I'm stuck in between. Give me the loot and a day job is what I scream.
Mm.
What part of your life were you referring to? What time frame in your life were you referring to with those lyrics, and what was going on? If you care to share.
Yeah. I probably from 13 to 20. You know, that's pretty much like teeter-totter and the good and bad and ills of life. Knowing I can get money this way, but I'm trying to get money that way, if you know
Right.
what I mean. So
Yeah.
a lot of mine, and referencing obviously the music I enjoy, Cash Rules, everything around me, Wu-Tang,
Yeah.
heavy influence on me. And yeah, just pretty much the ills of life, teetering what I can do and what I shouldn't be doing.
Got it. So wanted to ask you, when did work on the north side really start? Like, so I imagine this project with Eyes Low was a good warm up. Would you say?
Yeah, 100%.
And when did work on north side really start?
Okay, so funny story. I'll try and wrap it up fast about that.
Take your time, bro. We're not in a rush.
So
go ahead, bro.
Philly is Blanks' brother, who is he's a Toronto rapper as well. And I heard his album Blood Brothers, which Blanks produced the whole thing because they're brothers. Now I was like, fuck, that production is just right up my alley. So I reached out to Blanks. I'm like, yo, let me cop a beat. And he kind of slagged me off a bit because back then I only had like 300 followers, no music. I had nothing out. I was just pretty much a nobody. So finally, he sent me a beat pack. And in that beat pack, I heard the melody to Checkmate. And I was like, I'm like, bro, don't send that to a damn soul. That's mine. So I paid for it. I striked her down. And I was like, that was January of 2000 and the start of 2022, I believe.
22.
And so I wrote that, and then I was like, you know what? I had a really good feeling about it. The beat was banging, and I knew my buyers and the hook was good. I'm like, I gotta invest in myself. Like if I'm really gonna try and set myself apart from the normal pack, I better just fucking go for it. What's the worst that's gonna happen? So I reached out to Mickey Facts. We started chopping it up. The dollars made sense. The time frame made sense. And Mickey, an animal. Mickey had that verse sent to me in like an hour. I was like, that's madness.
Right.
So we did that. And then me.
How long did it take you to write your verse?
I'll say off the rip, probably 2 hours. But I was refining it a bit, right? I always write my verses decently fast, but then I'll revisit. I always revisit my verses just to make sure it's like, But anyways, so we did that, and then I was preparing to release it. What the hell? What can happen? And then so I released it, and then literally 4 days later, Static Selecta plays it, and then
that's crazy, man.
3 days later, DJ Premier plays it. And then 3 days later, Lord Sear Boogie Blind plays it. So it was just like out of nowhere, I'm just getting in all these avenues.
But did you send it to DJs or just somehow they picked up on it?
I sent it to DJ Eclipse, which the rap is out of control, and it just started spiraling everywhere. Like I had no idea. That's
wild, bro. Right.
So then that happened, and it was just a snowball effect after that. So once I started getting on the shady, like all my first single I've never had a single before, so I'm like, what? So after that happened, I tell Blanks, I'm like, yo, I think I got something here. So then Blanks is like, you know what? Let's craft another. So he made Foul Child. So he's he sent me Foul Child. Then I went and got the Buffalo Killer G Casino on that. He's an OG down there, and we crafted Foul Child. And what do you know? It's on Shady 45. You know, it got a lot of love. It's actually a lot of people's favorite song, and that was like, you know, and he did that off the love, G Casino, which is you always love when an artist wants to work with you without dropping a bag, you know?
Right. Got it.
So that's what started Northside.
So at some point, did your relationship like with music with Blanks, did it go from like transactional to something more like collaborative, or
it turned into pure family? Like me and Blanks are brothers now. So you know, because we're just both real people. Yeah. And we both come from the same struggle. We just connected. So the transaction turned into a brotherhood, which rarely happens in this industry, which I'm thankful for.
Is Blanks from Scarborough?
He's from Toronto. I don't know if it's Scarborough, but he's been there his whole life.
Gotcha. So I also read or saw in an interview that you credit him quite a bit for what Northside has become.
So if it wasn't for Blanks, Northside, like obviously I know my pen's nice. I invested. I know how to make songs, but me and Blanks, just what we were able to create, like without that sound that he made me, I don't know if Northside would have been what Northside is.
Did he also help sequence the songs? Was that your thing, or like because it's in a great sequence as well?
Yeah, I curated the track list, like what songs I wanted to play and the order of it. He obviously though he pushed me, like the song "We Ain't Come to Play" with Sky Zoo. He was telling me like, you know, I think you need to do this type of chorus. You know, this type of song is like a, you know, it's like a struggle feel good song. So here I am. We ain't come to play. We ain't come to lose. We came from a place. So it's like little fine tunes. You know what I mean? Right.
So you guys are really crafting it, so to speak.
Yeah, we started off as a single, turned into a monthly single, and then I'm like, bro, we're making an album.
So if we could be hypothetical here, if that tune with Mickey Fax didn't pop off, do you think you would have the fire you have right now, or did that create the fire to be like, you know what, let's go all in?
That's a very good question. As real as I can be with an answer, if that song didn't go where it had to go, I don't know if it would have fueled me in the way that fueled me to keep pushing harder.
That's amazing.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So that one moment is what kind of made this whole career possible.
Right. That's a blessing, bro. Run with it, man. You are, but yeah, man. Yeah. Keep going. So you also have production from PhD Beats, Orion Crates, and Lim. Just want to shout them out. Yeah. Give me a second here. Just going through my notes. And when you chose Mickey Fax, when you're choosing artists like Sky Zoo to reach out to for verses, is there any sense of intimidation at all, or you're just so stoked that you're like, fuck it, let's just go all out and see what happens? As
humbly as I can say it, I don't think there's a feature I'm ever scared of. If anything, it allows me to see what I'm capable of. Right. I don't go on a track thinking that I'm the best, but I'm like, yo, I know Mickey Fax is a pure firesmith. He's a fucking swordsman. So I knew that like he's gonna push me mentally while I'm writing this shit, because I already envisioned him on it. So like, when I have someone like that, it's more of like fuel to the fire than anything. Yeah.
And getting scratches done by Tone Spliff, was he in your community?
No.
Obviously, a lot of people know of him, so you just wanted to get the right people to do the job?
Exactly. So I seen Tone Spliff actually on Shady 45, like relentlessly. And I'm like, who the fuck is this Tone Spliff lad? Right. So I DM'd him. I'm like, yo, your cuts are nasty, mate. And then we ended up working. The first cuts he did was Foul Child. Yeah. He just slaughtered it. And then he's my guy now for his scratches.
Yeah. Because like some people have tunes where the scratches don't match like the beat very well, and it makes the whole thing sound whack. Like that's the thing that impresses me about your product. It's balanced, bro, from top to bottom, and that doesn't usually happen with a debut album from an independent artist, man. So
for me, I wanted A1 beats, A1 sound engineering, A1
Right.
features, and a whole body of work that is cohesive. That was my goal the whole time.
Yeah. And you achieved the objective. So B1 the architect, that's your engineer.
Yeah.
Great engineering. How did that come together?
B1's in another community that I'm kind of involved with in Facebook. So you know, I see him doing some shit there, and Blank's always told me like, yo, he does my engineering and this and that. So I reached out to him, and you know, we chopped it up. He's a good guy. Yeah, he's affordable for me, and we start working. He's done pretty much 90% of my engineer work.
Yeah, I remember the engineer I used to use. He didn't rap at all, man. So for some reason, I'm impressed with engineers that rap. I don't equate those parts of the brain
For sure.
to being one person often. So how many singles off of North Side got like major spins, like on Shade 45 or something to that effect? All of them.
Checkmate with Mickey Fax, Foul Child with G Casino, and then my third, which was my personal favorite at that time, was Sky Zoo We Ain't Come to Play, which got on everything. Yeah, that one was wildly connected.
I also want to say that you got the right artist to collab with you on the right track. Like Sky Zoo was perfect for that feeling on that beat. And I could go on with all that, man.
The beat with Sky Zoo in mind, because I wanted Sky Zoo on a track. So he's like, you know what? Let me chef something with Sky Zoo in mind. Sky Zoo's in my top 5 underground, so I already know what his sound is like. So I crafted with him in mind. Right.
Wanted to ask you, your closing track is called "Make It in the Ville." Yeah. Pardon my ignorance. What part of? Are you talking about a specific part of the city here, or
just in general? Okay. Just how to get out of that bullshit. You know what I mean?
Right.
That I make it wildly for anybody, because Ville can really be anything.
Right.
Town, city, area, country, just whatever is keeping you back. Get the fuck out of there.
Right. Just gonna take a second to shout out everyone. We've got Blanks in here.
Salute.
The Real Mike Beats.
Blanks.
Thank you, Naps and Dreads. Simon. Derek. Old Man 80s. He's also Canadian, right?
Yeah, me and 80's got an album coming. He's from Toronto as well.
Okay. So you got multiple albums you're working on in parallel. You're going all out, bro.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
With the hospital gig, bro, and the 4 kids, you're blowing my mind, bro.
Yeah, bro.
1 second here. So yeah, let's talk about singles since North Side.
Yeah.
Pit of Snakes.
Oh,
I don't know if that was before. That was before.
That ain't
That's
even
not
mine.
yours.
So I did a feature, and they ended up making me a primary, and I didn't even know. So that got put in my catalog.
Got it. Yeah, that one seemed to jut out a bit, to the side, kind of. Makes sense.
It was dope. Shout out Jimmy Baby for having me on. But yeah, that's not my catalog.
Got it. So you got Guillotine 2023 featuring Ace and Eastwood. That shit was fire. Imperative produced it. Another Canadian producer. Mm-hmm. So that's dope. How did you link with Ace and Eastwood? Was that just Jameson right there?
So Imperative is a producer. I heard a lot of his work. His most recent Under the Scope with Benny and Rick Hyde.
Right.
Which was a dope track. And then we linked up. I was trying to work with him for a minute too. And then he was on a live trying to think of a beat. And then the Guillotine beat was kind of being made. I'm like, yo, that's mine. So I dropped the loot on that. Yeah. And then I was a fan of Ace on. I've heard of him for a minute. Yeah. So I reached out to Ace on, and it all just made sense off the strength, which is real. Yeah. You didn't have to do that. And I cracked the Guillotine.
Yeah.
And that was going to be my lead single for the new year.
Dope track. His verse was fire. Again, A1 lyricist that you're working with.
And that one brought everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Yeah. DJ Trackstar, which is Killer Mike's DJ on Shady 45.
Yeah.
He spun it. Static spun it. Boogies. Everyone spun that shit.
So it didn't let up from. Let me know the ones that didn't spin anywhere. Let me know, or maybe they all have. So you got Northern Connect 2023 featuring Daniel's Son. I think it was produced by Mefix. I'm not familiar
with it. He's part of Lord Mob.
Got it. By the way, you had your first performance from what I saw going through your timeline, August of last year, opening for Danielson.
My very first one.
It's crazy, bro, how fast you're moving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does it ever phase you at all? Kind of.
Um, it doesn't, like, sometimes I sit back and I'm like, things have really progressed at a rate that I never thought was possible.
Right.
To a point where I had to dial down the performing and shit because it's too much fucking work, you know? And nowadays you gotta pay to play and I ain't with that shit. So, you know, I'm like, I did Afro Man and Yayo and all that. And it's like, man, fuck that. I'm done with that for a bit.
Yeah, I see Short Rock. Me fuck's got some crazy shit with Flea Lord. Fair enough, man.
Yeah, he started Lord Mob.
Mm-hmm. So did the opening for Danielson result from that track, Northern Connect?
Yeah,
is that what led to that?
100%, 100%.
Got it.
Because he doesn't really work with cats too much, I don't think, and he has a heavy bag for a feature. So he did that one real light off the strength of when he seen me perform.
Oh, so you performed first and then you collabed?
Yeah. Yeah. I performed, I opened, and then we collabed after that.
Got it. Then you got War. Again, we're in 2023. Stars Coleman. He killed the verse. By the way,
produced Lord Mob as well.
Right. Produced by Blanks. That one got spin as well.
Every single one.
Amazing. Praying with Dirty Hands, 2023, Benny Butcher.
Old Man 80s.
Produced by Old Man 80s and Blanks. And Scratches by Tone Spliff, bro.
Yep.
That must have been a little more expensive, I would guess.
Yeah, it was just a good opportunity. It worked out. I got my boys on the beat. And that's actually been not like bigger stream wise, but bigger everything else. It got on like every Shady show. The Shazams are fucking like retardedly high. Yeah, that's been my biggest one yet.
That's crazy. And then to keep it moving, Street Lock 2023 featuring Mickey Diamond, produced by Body Bag Ben.
Yeah.
That was your first time having a beat made by him?
Okay, so to retract a bit. So I'm working a lot this year. So the Guillotine is the first single off my album Shamrocks and Machine Guns that's coming in September.
Okay.
So that's that album. Praying with Dirty Hands is the first single off an Old Man 80s album that's coming.
Right.
And then the Mickey Diamond single, produced by Body Bag, that's our EP. Me and Body Bag's EP. That we're doing, that's gonna come. Got it.
So you got, was that 3 projects?
Yeah.
That's dope, man. And all of this is resulting. Let me know if I got it right. About 500K Spotify plays lifetime. I'm sure. From all this activity.
That's Northside alone. I'm up to 750 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
and that's
that right there.
Are you putting money into marketing, or is that just organic, would you say? Or
I haven't slammed anything into marketing. I wish I had a marketer and a A&R person.
Wow.
That's just off the rip. I think it's like a funnel effect from the Sirius XM plays, the Shazams, finding my name, and then what I'm doing on my Instagram.
It makes sense. Yeah, man. That's crazy. I guess on a smaller note, I also saw you got a kind of an award presented to you by, I think, a smaller platform. That was kind of cool to see. You know what I'm saying?
Album of the year.
Yeah. It's all, any love shown is, is a good milestone. Man. You know what I mean?
I love it. It seems minuscule, but it's dope. I love it. Yeah. Shout out to Bipolar and the Havoc Awards.
Yeah. So we were talking about your next album, like in the DMs. Are you okay to talk about that a little bit?
Of course.
You're good with that? Okay. So you'll let me know which one you're talking about, because I didn't know you have 3 on the go. So you said you had one. So your next one, you told me, at least in the DMs, was Imperative.
Yeah.
And it was going to be engineered by a Juno-nominated engineer. So Juno's is the...
Yeah.
Sorry? Juno winning.
He won a Juno, yeah.
Okay. So Junos in Canada is basically our Grammys. It's not as big as the Grammys, but that's basically our Grammys. And what was his name again?
Jamie I think his
Okay.
last name is Kusc.
Right. Right. So I was gonna ask.
Salute.
Gotcha. There we go. Album was a dope, cohesive, complete work. Exactly. That's why we're here. That's why we're talking. So, I was gonna ask, kind of, things are, going well with Blanks. What made you? Appealed? What was appealing to kind of work on your next album with Imperative? Um,
Pardon?
your first album is predominantly produced by Blanks,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
This next album we're talking about is going to be produced by Imperative. Kind of what attracted you to work with him?
Once again, off the first single, I didn't think we were going to do an album, me and Imperative, but my first single ended up popping off like crazy, and then we were like, we might as well do an album together, and it just happened.
Right, got it. That makes sense. And I forgot that was your first single, Checkmate, produced by him. Got it. And how did you get in touch with the engineer, if you don't mind me asking? Imperative. Got it.
That's his guy. I normally wouldn't be going out to an engineer like that.
Yeah.
Because the bag is retardedly high to pay for that.
Yeah.
So, but it made sense for the projects because me and Imperative are going in together. We're making an album, so it all made sense.
You probably feel pressure that you can't do anything worse than Northside, right?
Exactly, but there's different pressure involved now because my debut is renowned in the underground as like a classic album.
Yeah.
So it's like, I got to keep up that standard now. Right.
One thing I would love to hear on your next album personally is a story rap. A story or a description of scenes, places, streets. I'd love to hear that.
I'll give you a sneak peek.
Okay.
One of my most, I would say, honest and descriptive, real songs that will get you to know more about me is called Dear Jameson. And you might think it's about like alcoholism. It's not.
Right.
It's more so about my story. And that's a track I'm very excited for people to hear.
Right. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it, man, to that elevation. And I could hear your elevation in your lyricism in your singles, too, after the album. You know what I mean? I could tell you're pushing your pen as someone that, like, analyzes lyrics, for sure. So, look, man, like, I'm just thoroughly impressed. Like, the average independent artist, even if they release one project, it might not have a cohesive sound. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll bounce from project to project sometimes with different sounds. And sometimes you go to their Spotify, it feels like a hot mess. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie, right? It's just remarkable that you're coming out the gate with nice, polished product. You're getting the buzz, and you just got to put the pedal to the metal, right? And just keep going, bro. There's no turning back. That's what it is, right? That's pretty much
now what my collective thought is now.
Right.
So, I've been doing a single a month. I've been stockpiling. I've been grinding and working.
Yeah.
My main priority right now has been Shamrock and Machine Guns, which is completely finished. I got my last verse in. This track's crazy. My second single for that is coming on the 14th. It's with Rashid Chappelle and Elvis, which Rashid's been on a tear.
Right.
So this track is like a summary bop, like some feel-good music, So
is it sampled, or is it like trappy or synth?
It's boom bap soul, I would say.
Got it.
You heard the little snippet. That's pretty much what it's like.
Got it. And Elvis, I mean, he's the best with hooks, in my opinion. I've interviewed him twice. We're homies at this point. I can't wait to hear it, bro. Yeah, man.
Good. And I can't really tell the featured artist, but I will say there's a remix I'm already working on with a really big Canadian artist, like an OG legend. So I'm going to do the Canadian remix of this single coming.
Oh, dope, man. Sorry, when was that dropping again?
This one's dropping on the 14th with Rashid Chappelle and Elvis.
Dope. So on my platform, I only push artists that I interview. I like to keep it in the family, so to speak. I'm looking forward to pushing your shit routinely moving forward. I can't wait till that drops. look, I would love the conversation to keep going. Like most artists I talk to have a whole catalog of albums, and we're talking about their evolution and all this shit. You're coming out with your debut album or side. I don't know where to take it from here, bro. Other than to see what unfolds next.
You know, I didn't even know what the fuck would unfold, you know, and you know, all I could say is also like shout out to my supporting acts on that album, like Show Rocker. You know,
Right.
he blessed me with one on the fix. Justin MC blessed me
Right.
with a dope feature. I met him through Blanks. Life, he
Right.
killed it. And moving forward, I would have to say my album with Old Man 80s is
Right.
The Praying with Dirty Hands is the first single, but I'm actually working on another, the second single with Show Rocker and another massive feature. I mean, massive.
Right.
And
Right.
this producer is Old Man 80's son, so he kind of mentored it as well. So it's gonna be fire. That's gonna be on our project. That song's probably gonna be coming out end of July, I would hope. Show Rocker got to send me those stems, and then that shit's gone to engineering.
Dope, man. So just can't wait to watch it all unfold, man, and see how high you could take this. You're in a blessed spot. Keep running with it, man, and I'll be watching, man, from a distance, bro.
100%.
And so I want to thank everyone that came through, everyone in the chat. Is there any last things you want to impart on those listening?
I would have to say appreciate y'all. Salute Blank, salute 80s, Mikey, Show Rock, everyone who tapped in. We got a lot of music and albums coming. Shit's gonna get fucking crazy between now and September.
Right.
Strap in. Like, that's all I gotta say. Real shit's coming.
Dope, man. Dope. So thanks, everyone. Thank you, Jay Roberts, and we'll stay in touch. Have a great night.
100%. Salute, brother.
Peace.